So if it ain't Sam Darnold, and it really shouldn't be Sam Darnold, what do the Niners do after they trade Jimmy Garoppolo, presumably in 8 days? What is the move? They would need to draft a quarterback, of course, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But they would also need a bridge quarterback just in case. And there were reports that they were interested in Teddy Bridgewater. He'd be okay.
No way. No way.
Yeah, no.
Not good enough. No way.
He's an okay quarterback, but you're trading probably a mid-round pick and paying him $17 million a year, and he's had injury issues too, and he just lost a bunch of games last year. And what are you really accomplishing with that? I think the better move would be to just sign a guy because you're not giving up a draft pick and it'll be cheaper. So which quarterbacks are free agents? Well, you got Andy Dalton, who's been relentlessly mediocre his whole life. You got Cam Newton. You got Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's pretty old. And then the guy I keep coming back to, we've talked about before, Alex Smith. It seems like the perfect bridge quarterback for a lot of reasons. What do you think?
Iggy, I think it would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And let me give you some reasons. You have better reasons. First of all, you can say that he mentored 2 quarterbacks.
He did.
Kaepernick, walking around with his earphones and really not listening to anybody, and Mahomes. Not bad. Yes. He doesn't have the kind of ego where he would not talk to a guy or not explain things to a guy.
Generous. He mentored Mahomes, mentored Colin Kaepernick. And if you remember, those 2 young guys had 2 of the best starts of their career after sitting for a season of any quarterbacks in the last 10 years. They were on fire at first, and they both credited Alex Smith for getting them up to speed so well. He's done it multiple times, and while he's mentoring, he wins.
I was going to say, Alex Smith is a winner. Now, he's not a Super Bowl winner, I don't think, but I don't know, on the right team, he might be.
He was more successful last year than Jimmy Garoppolo was here.
Yeah.
He was 5-1 on Washington last year. Jimmy Garoppolo was like 3-3.
Okay, the other thing is, one of the things I always liked about Alex, Iggy, when he gets to the line of scrimmage, it's like
he's a genius.
Savant.
Yes.
You agree?
Oh yeah, that's part of the reason. That's part of what he gives to the young quarterbacks. Mentally, he's as good as any quarterback. He's like Brady. He's like Peyton Manning. He understands what's happening as well as they do. He's not as gifted. He didn't have the arm those guys have. He's not as aggressive as they are. He's not as good as them, but he is as smart, and that's part of what he can give to a young, talented quarterback who has more physical gifts than him. Well, I'll also show you how to read the game. It's great at it.
Before the play even starts.
That's right.
He was brilliant at the line of scrimmage. And I want to say one other thing, because I'm not a football scout. I'm a journalist. What a story.
Oh,
Iggy,
yeah.
What a story. Alex Smith comes back. Can you imagine? I mean, every newspaper would probably have an Alex Smith section.
Yes.
He would, as opposed to a grump like Kaepernick before he got famous, Alex Smith would sit down for interviews. He'd do one-on-ones.
Oh,
if there was a thing anymore like a one-on-one.
The thing that I liked about him was he was so an anti-celebrity. He never wanted to be famous, ever, and never acted like he was famous.
He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful guy. And Iggy, a B+ quarterback?
Yeah, but I mean, whatever he is, he's a quarterback who wins about 3/4 of his games in the regular season.
Yeah.
He's never done anything really in the playoffs. But you're not asking him to. You're asking him to start 8 games. Start 8 games if you have to, because ideally this quarterback will even beat you out in training camp. But if he doesn't and he needs a little time, start. And if you can't make it a full season, great, because this guy needs to play anyway. Mentor him. That's fine. You're not asking him to play 2 seasons or 16 games. Just mentor the first-round pick or the second-round pick. I think he'd be perfect for it. And what a perfect story, narrative it would be to have him come back. I just wonder if he wants to.
Yeah. And, part of mentoring, I want to be very specific. Mentoring happens in the quarterback meetings.
Yes.
The quarterbacks sit with it's very interesting. It's like school. They sit in a little room and there's a projector or however they do it on screens now on their computers, and they go through stuff. And if they have 3 quarterbacks, like last year, the 3 of them were sitting in the room and going over stuff. Now, you remember that O'Sullivan guy?
JT.
Yeah, Alex once
He's trying to
told
make a
me,
comeback. He's trying to make a comeback on YouTube. Let's talk about it. JT.
okay, maybe this is wrong, but I thought Alex once said that he had a question in a meeting, and Alex was always telling O'Sullivan, but O'Sullivan knew something he didn't, and he wouldn't tell Alex.
That's
And
right.
Alex, as far as I remember it, it could
Yes.
be apocryphal, but I thought I heard it. Maybe Alex told me.
I remember
He
this
was,
story when I was a kid. You told me that.
yeah,
Because the
and he
thing
was
was,
outraged.
it was during that when I think probably Alex Smith was like 23, and he had a different coordinator every year. Remember that time? It was part of the
Yeah.
reason he was so bad. That year it was Mike Martz. And JT O'Sullivan brought in Martz because he'd been with him in Detroit or something like that, knew his scheme and said he was going to be as good as Kurt Warner or something like that. So he had a leg up on Alex Smith and wouldn't help Alex. That's not what Alex is like.
Oh no, he's the exact opposite. He's a generous, bright person.
Yeah, that's really petty, JT.
So I want to come back to, from the point of view of a journalist and a story. Again, you want to please fans.
Yeah.
You want to please fans. Get rid of Jimmy. Show them what your direction is. Do it right away. Bring in Alex Smith. It's a savvy move, and it would warm the hearts of your fans. There is no fan that doesn't like double negative, that doesn't like Alex Smith. Now, for
That's
me,
true.
the one drawback he has as a quarterback that it troubles me, sometimes he doesn't throw the ball when he should.
Yeah, but Dad, he's gotten a lot better at that because he spent a lot of time with Andy Reid, and he had Patrick Mahomes behind him pushing him. By the time that he finally got replaced, his final year in Kansas City, he led the NFL in quarterback rating, led the entire league, and he was throwing deep to Tyreek Hill. He's actually come a long way since what he was 10 years ago. He's more aggressive. He's a better quarterback, and he consistently wins. The thing with him is he has this surgically constructed leg, and it just kind of gave out on him last year. Like it called it a calf injury. There was no necessarily any impact. It just kind of malfunctioned. So you don't know how long it's going to last, but you don't know how long Jimmy's going to last. It seems to me what this Niners offense has become, the short passing game. Well, Alex can do that. And he's a smarter quarterback before the snap than Jimmy, after the snap than Jimmy, and still more mobile than Jimmy. Still.
And a better arm.
And a better arm than Jimmy. Just better. I think he's capable. The Niners could actually win more games with Alex Smith next season than with Jimmy Garoppolo.
So, Kyle, I know you're watching because you're a big fan of the Cohn Zone. What we're saying is Alex Smith is a pretty good bridge quarterback. We would like you to be imaginative. This is Grant Cohn and Lowell Cohn would like you to be imaginative and bold.
Yes.
So, if you want to phone me later, all I'm doing in the house these days, I do these exercises to try to build up my leg so I can actually walk again without a walker or a cane. So I'm here and I can take your call.